Hi guys, so finally getting around to recording this. So this is going to be a Q&A style video all about stage kittening and stage managing. For those of you that don't know, I've been a circus performer and dancer professionally since 2016, I believe, and I've been stage kittening about since a year or so before that. I stage managed once, but from stage kittening I've kind of essentially shadowed, so I kind of have experience in both roles. Most of my experience is in sort of like pubs, clubs. I have stage kittened in a couple of theatres before, but I'm not actually stage managed in proper theatre, but I can kind of tell you how it sort of works. And I've not done much work on like big productions. It's literally been like circus and cabaret, so for those interested in this, stay tuned. Okay, so, and I actually have notes, yeah. So if I'm looking down, that's why. Okay, so my first question that I got were do's and don'ts of being backstage as a performer. Two roles a bit different, but how I as a performer, I would go backstage and I would instantly try and find the stage manager or stage kitten to check in with them, mostly just to let them know that I'm here, and also just to kind of double check that they've got all my tech right and that the track that the sound and lighting people have got is correct and also working. A good idea as a performer, I would say, would be bring backups of your music, either iPod, phone, if you want to go old school, CD, but I think most tech people will just accept it off your phone or an iPod. And also if there's something with your music like it needs cutting at a certain point, let them know. Also make sure that your stage manager, stage kitten, knows your cue to come on as well. Like if you're starting off stage, let them know exactly where you're going to be off stage. Most of that is normally covered in your tech run anyway. So yeah, I'd say that's a definite do, like just check in, make sure everybody's happy. One thing that I will actually say, as someone that's done kind of both, if you are a performer that has a lot of mess in their act, say glitter or champagne pours or confetti, please let the stage kitten and manager know ASAP. It would also be a very, very good idea if the producer has not seen your act before and it is a surprise ending of your act. Please let the producer know, because big mess, it's a good idea to put them sort of at the end of an act, so that they'll, I mean, kind of like a musical would be into acts, like, you know, before an interval, just so that a stage manager and a stage kitten has plenty of time to clean that up, especially glitter. Glitter is actually way more dangerous on stage than you would think. So as a stage kitten, I would go to the bar at the venue and kind of just ask for like a broom or blue roll, so you can like wipe and mop anything up that happens. Another do as a performer backstage, I'd say, like, ask us for help. If you need help, ask. Like I've had all sorts, from kind of pinning up stockings, tight lacing people into corsets, all that kind of thing. So yeah, if you are looking into being a stage kitten or a stage manager, particularly for a stage kitten, I'd say be aware of corsetry and all that kind of thing, like being able to help performers in and out of costume is a massive bonus. So yeah, and apart from that, as a performer, just be kind, just be nice. That's all I can really say. Just be yourself, have a good time. Yeah, if you enjoy it, we'll enjoy it, basically. Yeah, and just be prepared to have your costume handed back to you really, really quickly, and be prepared to count and make sure that you have all of your stuff really quick. Because often as a kitten, I will just run back, dump stuff, well, not dump, but make sure that you know everything, and if there's something missing, tell us then, so then we can look for it either at the end of the next act when we're clearing that, or in an interval if needs be. Yeah. Yeah, backstage can be chaos and fast. Okay. So I'm hoping that covers that one. Next thing that I can think of is what to wear. So as a stage kitten, I normally wear just all black and flat, comfortable shoes. Do not wear heels as a kitten. The other thing I would say with what to wear is, if you're not sure, ask the producer that you're going to be working for, because some shows they have a set uniform that the manager and the kitten wear, so just be mindful of that. And if they don't give you anything specific, then I would just wear all black. I would advise not to wear a corset either. I have done that, and it makes bending down and picking up things and running a little bit more difficult. But again, it can be in uniforms, so just be prepared for it. Essentially, as a kitten and a manager, just be prepared for anything. So I hope that helps with that one. Next question. Stories. Do I have any stories? Okay, I'll tell you stories as a stage manager first. I'm not going to name performers, by the way. I'm not going to name names. So yeah, as a stage manager, I've carried a live snake before, and I've also carried an actual sword on stage before. The snake, I didn't know I was carrying it. At the time it was in a box which was covered over, and the performer then brought the snake out as part of their act, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I'd say they're pretty cool stories. And then as a stage kitten, I'm trying to think now. One story I have, which is actually from the first ever time I stage kittened. It was at a competition, and one performer had done an entire champagne or like some sort of sparkling wine pour on top, and it got all over the stage. So me and the stage manager, we had to get on the stage and clean that up before the host could actually get onto the stage. She was wearing a Catherine Delish robe at that point, so we were both like, do not come on the stage until it's clear. So we were both there like scrubbing away, as you do, and basically my knees, because I was literally on hands and knees, my knees slid and I went into a box split, really close to the front row of the audience as well. And because at that competition the audience had tokens to vote for which performer they wanted to win, the host kind of was suggesting that the audience kind of chucked coins down. Yeah. So that was one. I have since worked with that host, so I'm the stage manager as well of that one. So that was a good first time kittening. Another story, I'm trying to think now. yeah, I think that's mostly it for stage kittening actually. Yeah, you don't get much time as you're normally like just picking up things and just running them backstage. That's more or less um, what you do. So you end up meeting a lot of really, really cool people and things like that. It's just a very fast job. Like once the show starts, that's it. You're like in it, so you don't really get much time. Okay, next one. What to expect? So yeah, pretty much what I've said. Just then, really, as a stage kitten, you don't normally get a lot of time to view the acts, essentially, which is a bit of a shame. Because most of the time, it depends on the venue. If you've got a long run to backstage, then most of your time will be running and making sure that the performers have got what they want, making sure the next performer's ready, etc. So you won't get a lot of time by the stage. If you've got a really short run, then you are more than likely going to be able to see some of the acts. But you will more than likely see them from like side of stage, etc. So, and just be mindful as well of other people around you, performers around you, and just be professional. Really, that's kind of all there is to it. The first time you stage kitten, it might be a bit like whoa, a lot going on. Especially if you're kittening for big names and people that you have kind of looked up to. I've kind of got used to that, so it's fine. And just kind of remember that everyone's human. We're all the same. So yeah, just have a laugh, have some banter, really. As a stage manager, you're going to be communicating more with the people that are running the sound and lighting and that kind of thing. Just making sure things are running smoothly in that respect, making sure that performers are looked after, that everyone's where they should be, when they should be there. Before a show as well, you would go around and collect the tech from all of the performers. Just make notes in case there's anything that the performers want to change, that sort of thing. So you're more involved as a manager. As a kitten, it depends really on your level of experience, I guess. First time I did it, I was more on the point of just picking things up and giving them back. But the more you get involved and the more you know the stage managers and what you should be doing, the more sort of responsibilities you can take on, etc. Just kind of mucking in, basically. Yeah, that's how it goes. As a manager as well, a proper theatre, I've seen them wear like the headsets to communicate up to the light and sound booth as well, and there's like a whole panel in front of them as well. I've never gotten to use that, but I've seen that, so I know that that's how that works. And also you can, I mean, even as a kitten as well, if you know this, certain performers as well, when they're teching, you can ask for specific coloured lights as well. So if you're aware of how that works, what's going to best suit what colour costumes, or what sort of mood, etc. Yeah, it's just kind of being generally helpful, I think, in both roles. Apart from one, you have slightly more responsibility than the other. Another thing to expect as well, I would say watching tech rehearsals. And just so you know where things are going to land, where performers should be throwing things, but also bear in mind that sometimes things don't go to plan, and performers could very easily change things last minute, or things might not land where you're expecting them to. So yeah, just be mindful, I guess. And also, like, when you do either of those roles, like a stage kitten or a stage manager, be prepared to be the first one there and the last one to leave, apart from the producer. Because you are often there, like, setting things up as well, potentially, or running things front of house. as well. And for those that don't know, front of house is anything that is not backstage or the stage. So basically, like where the audience are is essentially front of house. So yeah, you could be doing anything like that. Again, just kind of talk to your producer, make sure that you know what they're expecting you to do in either of those roles. I think as a stage manager it's fairly obvious, but as a kitten, you could be front of house, you could be more backstage, you could be wearing a specific uniform, etc, etc. Yeah, I think that's all really for what to expect. If there's anything else that you would want to know, please comment, let me know. Okay, another thing, how to actually start being a stage kitten or a stage manager. So I would say to start being a stage, you would go in as a stage kitten first of all, and then the more experience of that you get, the more you can start applying for stage managers and working up to that point. You're probably going to start in amateur local shows and then kind of like work your way up. So for me, my first stage kittening job was at Miss East Midlands, which is a burlesque competition run in Nottingham. The way that I got that, I went as a punter the first year. I was an audience member. I applied the next year to actually compete, but then I ended up not being successful in that, but I asked if there was any way that I could help out. So from there, I ended up stage kittening, my first ever job. So essentially it's all mostly networking and go to as many shows as you can. It's the same as being a performer. Go to as many shows as you can, network, because it is more a case of who you know than what you know sometimes. Yeah, just be professional, be helpful, network, and that's kind of how you get the jobs really. And then once you've got your foot in the door, you can then apply higher up and again meeting more performers backstage and things like that, because performers, they will talk. I know I will do sometimes. Like if someone did a really good job, I will then tag them in castings, etc, and like recommend people. So that's kind of how it works. I think entertainment industry. Yeah, so breaking down the fourth wall here. Yeah, so if there's anything else that you would like to know, or you'd like me to record another one of these style videos, please let me know.